Hey guys, and welcome to part 3 of how to draw Emilia from Ray Zero. Last time we just quickly inked her in here, and as you'll notice, I cleaned up my guidelines for the most part, so it's all pen and ink here. I have also gone ahead and fixed a few things, like I forgot to put in the coattail, I believe that's what it's called, and her little cape here, and just some of the details on the sleeve. I mean, I didn't want to make it too long and curly and all that stuff and make it too difficult to draw, so I just decided to make it just a little bit simpler for you guys to draw. That way it's not ridiculously difficult to redraw this. Anyway, let's go ahead and get right on into this. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and start coloring in some different sections. First off, I'm probably gonna start off with the hair. Let's see. There we go. I'm gonna try and see how the C1 works for her hair, so it should be, yep, there we go, just around the right whitish silver color I'm looking for. And this flower here is also in this same color that the hair is. I might kick some of this into time lapse for you guys. That way this video isn't as long, because I know it can be quite the feat to sit down in your chair and follow along. But then again, you're most welcome to skip ahead in the video and just get to the point where I've finished all the different sections, like this hair, the torso, etc. Just so you can skip ahead, pause, see what I do. You don't have to listen to my crazy banter. But yeah, more than welcome to skip anywhere you want in the video. There we go. Now we got the base color for our hair put in. Now, most of her clothing is white, so we can either decide to keep the clothes like actually uncolored and not color anything in, or we could go in with a C00 or C1, because, well, her hair is the same color as her dress, so it should be relatively simple, but I might use a C00. That way it's not too dark of a gray. Anyway, let's move on to doing the base layer of the skin here. Here we go. Most of our features, or well, not features, our skin color is all good and set to go. So now we can probably go ahead and just sketch in some of the details on her clothing. Now I'm very limited in my purple department. I don't use purple all that often, but I have something. It's off-brand pro marker. But yeah, it'll work. It'll get the job done. And the purple is a pretty close color, so no harm done in using off-brand. They're cheap too. That's most of the purple on her dress, I believe. Just glancing at my reference. Yeah, that's just about all the purple on the dress. But this ribbon up here is kinda in the purple color. Yeah, that's really fine. Yeah, you might tell it's bleeding outside the lines a little bit, but still looks alright. At least to me. Some of you guys are like, oh, it's bleeding. My OCD is dying. But that's okay. I mean, that's literally the only purple marker I have at the moment. But now let's go over this clothing with the C00. It's very light gray, grayish white color. It should work pretty well to give us some nice detail. I just gotta be careful because that purple I just put in will bleed very easily with this Copic marker. Those off-brand markers do not like Copics that much. They'll bleed very easily. Alright. I've almost got all of the clothing colored in. Got to do the skirt. This character is pretty nice to do because, I mean, it's basically white, light gray, and purple for the most part. I mean, there's a little bit of yellow and green in here, but barely any, like, whatsoever. Yeah. There we go. So yeah, we've got most of our base colors in, save for the eyes, of course. But let's see here. Yeah, everything's looking pretty good. I'll just go ahead and put in those really fine details. They're all very fine coloring. Because there's a small little yellow button on her collar looking thing. She also has this kind of like a green gem that she wears right below that. It'd be hard to see, but I'll post this on DeviantArt for you guys, so you can go over there and check out my DeviantArt. Same name. You can just type in Glasses Senpai and should pop up. But yeah, once this is finished, I'll post that so you guys can see the end result and zoom in as much as you like. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and color the eyes in real quick. Oh yeah, hang on. I just remembered I gotta be very careful because her eyes are not exactly the normal kind. Because I have to remember she has like this bluish teal color pupil. So I gotta make sure I don't put any purple over there, because I gotta use a different marker for that. So I'm just gonna, man, that looks weird. But I'm gonna leave some space for myself so I can put a dab of that a blue color in there for the pupils. Now figuring out the blue color is the fun part. Which brand of marker will we be using today? Oh. Well, son of a gun. Today, Prismacolor is the winner. Surprisingly. Sorry Prismacolor, I don't want to bash, but Copic is just so good. I mean, you can refill them, like refill the markers and all that good stuff, but Prismacolor, you know, I have to keep buying your markers over and over. Now you might notice I made the pupils a little bit larger, but that's because I'm going to use this purple to downsize them a little bit. Just taking into account the bleeding that this off-brand marker is going to do. This is really tricky. Yeah, just take your time when you're doing this part, or else you might punch yourself later for not taking your time and being careful. This is, for me, this is pretty difficult. There we go. So we have all of our base layers completed, and I will go ahead and do the rest of the shading. However, my camera is about to run out of battery, so I might have to go do a really quick jump cut and record this a little later on when my battery is charged. Because it'd be real awkward to cut it off now. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead, take a short break, get this battery charged up, and I'll finish everything with the shading. Hey guys, sorry about that, I'm back now. I got the battery all charged up and we're ready to go. Alright. I totally forgot where I left off though. But I suppose we shall get on to our shading. And I'll probably start with shading the hair, I would say. So, gotta retest my colors. There we go. I'm just going to put another layer of this C1 on the hair. That way it'll darken it up just a shade, just a very small amount. But once you apply enough of it in a wide enough area, it'll be quite the difference, as you'll see here in just a moment. that takes care of most of the hair as far as shading goes. I'll probably see if I can't touch that up a little bit more with the C5, but I'm gonna be a little bit cautious about using that. Now for these clothes, I might actually use a C1 here to put in the shadows, but I'm just gonna go ahead and try another layer of the C00, which is the same marker that we used to color these clothes in the first place. Let's see, how does this look on the camera? I can kind of see a difference. It's not huge though. Yeah, you can kind of see it, but you kind of can't. I might have to go and use the C1 to just to bring a little bit more contrast to these shadows here. But I'll just go ahead and put a layer of this, another layer of this C00. Yeah, I don't think there's quite enough contrast to make it look like a shadow, so I'll go ahead and use a C1. I think that just about does it for the dress. I'll just move on to the skin for now. Save the rest of that shading on the hair for later. Just so, just save myself the stress. Because doing the skin is just going to be a little bit easier. Because starting really anything is the easiest, but refining, like really refining the details down, that gets tricky. So we'll go ahead and do the shading for our skin. Now I'm not going to go in with another layer of E000 or pale fruit pink. I'm going to go in with a powder pink, which is YR00. Just go straight in with it. I mean, personally, I absolutely love using this color because it just has so much contrast. And it, I don't know, I just think it looks really good for shading on the skin. But all in all, really, it's just a personal preference because it really provides that contrast in the shadows that I absolutely love. Oh, just a second little side note. Depending on the color of your hair, it depends. How do I word this? If you have a light hair color and you're shading the skin with another darker color, or any color really. For example, Emilia's hair is like a whitish gray. I'm using a tannish color. If I went over a gray, if I went over gray with this tannish color, it would bleed into the hair and it would look very weird. Therefore, I urge you guys to be very careful coloring or coloring in the shading on the skin when you're near the hair, because it can actually bleed over into the hair and it just kind of makes a whole mess for you. But yeah, it's just Glasses Senpai's 50th tip of the day. I know I've probably burdened you guys with so much information, but it's good to know a lot of things, I suppose. Better than not knowing, right? And finding out the hard way. That way isn't very fun most of the time. But yeah. And right now I'm just doing the shading on the legs here. This might make a little bit of a shadow there. Same here. And I'll do the shading on the eyelids. It's just a personal favorite of mine to do a little bit of a layer on the eyelids, like just a little bit of a shading layer on the eyelids here, because it really kind of makes it pop. Like, I don't know why, but this shading right above the eyes, where the eyelids are, just really makes your piece pop out. I really like it. It's almost like a 3D-ish effect, if you will. That is literally the best way I can explain it. But yeah. Now we'll just pop in a little. I'm not gonna make this too heavily shadowed, but pop in a little shading on the nose, a little dot down here, but for the chin. Very subtle. But I think we have most of our shading done here. I'm just seeing what else to do. Ah, my bad. What am I doing? I'm gonna use this. Oh, actually, my friend has graciously lent me a purple Copic, because keep in mind, the only purple marker I have in my inventory is this off-brand Pro marker. So yeah, I'm very thankful to her for allowing me to use this purple marker, because it really does help me out quite a bit. Yeah, you can check out her channel. I'll leave the link in the description. And also, we did a collab or a collaboration, whichever suits your fancy, for a video the other day. So I'll get that up in hopefully a few days. I've been pretty busy this week, but hopefully I can get that video up for you guys. I really think you guys will enjoy it, especially those of you who speed paint, or maybe it might offend you, but it's not made to offend anybody. It's really just for giggles. I just thought it'd be a really funny video, but you'll have to wait and see for it to come out. But I assure you, you'll probably enjoy it quite a bit. But yeah, not gonna tell you guys much more than that, because you're gonna have to go see the video when it comes out. There we go. Just doing some of the smaller shading. There we go. Cool. Now, you know what? I'm probably gonna leave the hair out as it is. I don't want to go too dark with the shading. So I'm gonna go ahead and probably refine these eyes down just a little bit more. As a common saying goes, eyes are king when it comes to anime slash manga, because they really help reveal the emotion of the character. So eyes are super important. Never forget that. I mean, so are the eyebrows, nose, mouth, etc. But eyes really help express the main emotion, along with eyebrows and mouth, of course, but eyes really kind of just help you set the tone, I guess. Anyway, we'll just get real quick into this little shading part. I just remembered she's 24/7 just got a real bad case of the blushies, as I call them. Yes, I know, Mark Crilly reference, but that's what I call it. She's got the blushies disorder. She needs assistance. Because if you watch this show, I dare you, pay attention. Every single scene that Emilia is in, 100% blushing. All the time. Non-stop. I think she has a blushing disorder. But anyway, we're just gonna add in that blush right on her cheeks. I'm not very good with pastel, so I'm just really taking my time to focus, because it's kind of hard to control how much goes on it with a little piece of tissue paper. Aha. There we go. But yeah, in case you're curious on what I'm using a Pentel oil pastel. It's like a kit of 50. They're pretty cheap. You can find them in like Michael's for probably like $10-15, but I really like oil pastels sometimes. They can be a little bit tricky, so you should take your time to learn how to use them. But once you get to know how to use them, they are really fun to use, especially for blushies. It's really nice. You just take it, there we go, and rub it on the napkin and carefully apply it to whatever paper you're using. Now, I would highly suggest messing around with pastels before you use it on the final piece, but it's a lot of fun to use. Now, we got our blushies on. This is really starting to look good. Now, isn't it as I said? I said, hey, trust me, it's gonna look good. In my first video, or part 1 if I recall. Was I wrong? Please don't leave that in the comments. I don't want to see in the comments, yes, you were wrong, it's absolutely horrible glasses. It's like, oh, I thought it did a good job though. It's like, no, I've been a professional artist for 50 years, even though I'm 10. Sorry. It's just one of my fun little rants I do. Anyway, I'm just gonna add the highlights in the eye real quick. Now, I forgot how many highlights she has in her eyes, but I think she only has one. I think. But because this is a chibi and it's all happy, I'm probably gonna add 2 highlights. Because that's really what I like to do. I mean, it's my own style. I like to have at least 2 highlights in the eyes most of the time. Unless it's like a male character or something. Male characters, I if they're serious male characters, I like to only give them one highlight, but I'll give Emilia 2 here. There we go. And in case, once again, you're curious as to what I am using for these highlights, because some of you guys that still do traditional art, you might be, well, I just kind of leave an empty white space. Well, I'll have you guys know, or you will be glad to know, that I guess I'm a little bit of a sellout, but Copic has this opaque white ink. It's really cheap. It's like $3 to $5. You can find it online. And you can just color in the eyes solidly with whatever shading and colors you're using. And then at the very end, you can just take a very small brush and put in the highlights just like that. Or any other highlights that you might want to add in the hair. Now personally, I usually don't add white highlighting, there it is, to my hair. I know that's not in focus, but yeah, if you want to do that, that's cool. I'm just saying this white Copic ink, or I guess really any kind of white ink would work. It just really helps you. It puts less stress on you for like highlighting areas, like, oh man, I can't let this one area be colored in or else it's gonna be ruined. But yeah, it really takes the stress off you. And yeah, right now I'm just touching up the eyes again. The pupils just look a little bit too small, so I'm just trying to embolden them a little bit more. There we go. That looks a little bit better, I think. All right. Well, we have finished our chibi here. In my opinion, it looks pretty darn good. I'll go ahead and put my signature on this, because every time I finish a piece, I will always put my signature on it. Just kind of signifying that I'm, well, done with it. There we go. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this as much as I have, because I had quite a bit of fun drawing this. I appreciate you guys sticking through all 3 parts, and who knows how many minutes of footage. Probably it's gonna be at least an hour by now, but thank you for sticking with me here, and I really appreciate your support. If you guys want to see more of this, or you really like what you see and you want to see more, feel free to subscribe and or like the video. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Please keep positive criticism, and please be nice to each other. I like it better when people are nice. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.
On the walls, I lock you in or to keep